Top 10 Crazy Kids. Number 10, Eric Smith, January 22, 1980. Police charged Smith with the murder of a 4-year-old boy named Derrick Robie. Derrick had been strangled, had large rocks dropped on his head, and had been sodomized with a small stick. Smith was convicted and went to prison. Number 9. His mother went to clean up his room one morning after Phillips left for school. The dead body of Maddie Clifton, an 8-year-old neighbor who had been missing for 7 days. People in the community, especially the boy's parents, could hardly believe he could have killed Clifton. He was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment, with no possibility for parole. Number 8. George Stinney, October 21, 1929 until June 16, 1944. He killed 2 girls named Betty June Binnicker, age 11, and Mary Emma Thames, age 8, who were both found in a muddy hole. He was tried and sentenced to death in the electric chair. The case was not appealed because his family had no money to pay for a continuation. But in December 2014, Stinney was exonerated on the basis that his confession was coerced and that he was wrongfully convicted without a fair trial. Number 7. Lionel Tate, January 30th, 1987. Tate was trusted to babysit Tiffany Eunuch. 45 minutes later, Lionel called his mother and told her that the girl was not breathing. He explained that they had been wrestling and that he had her in a headlock as he slammed her on the table. Tate was sentenced to a lifetime of imprisonment without parole in 2001, but his sentence was overturned on the basis that he was not given a mental competency hearing before or during the trial. He was released in 2004 with 10 years probation. Number 6. On February 2nd, 1994, Barry took his algebra class in hostage, where he took the lives of 3 people, 2 students and a teacher, and resulted in the critical injury of 1 student. Barry was dressed to look like a gunslinger from the Wild West in a black duster and armed with a .30-30 caliber rifle, a .357 caliber pistol, and a .25 caliber pistol that belonged to his father. The students were held hostage for 10 minutes before a gym coach tricked and outwitted the boy. Barry is currently serving 2 life sentences, with an additional 205 years in prison. Number 5. Craig Price. What was supposed to be a burglary claimed the life of Joan Heaton, age 39, along with her 2 daughters, Jennifer, 10, and Melissa, 8, who were found lifeless, blood-soaked, and brutally murdered in their home on September 4, 1989, by Craig Price. Craig was tried and convicted before his 16th birthday and still is in jail. Number 4. Graham Young. At an early age, Graham Young had been fascinated with chemistry, particularly types of poison and their effects on people. His family and friends were his victims. Young was sent to a maximum security hospital, but this did not stop him from poisoning hospital staff and fellow inmates, one of whom died. Young was released when he was 23 and went to live with his sister. His poisoning spree continued. His victims most often were co-workers. Young was sent back to prison and eventually died there. Number 3. Jesse Palmieri, November 29, 1859 to September 29, 1932. I might have done it. He kidnapped and killed a 10-year-old girl named Katie Curran and was also accused of the murder of a 4-year-old boy. He was convicted for the death of Katie. He was sentenced to a life imprisonment, which he served in solitary confinement. He died of natural causes at the age of 72. Number 2. John Venables and Robert Thompson, August 13, 1982 and August 23, 1982. James Bulger's mother left her 2-year-old son at the butcher shop door, thinking that it would not take her long to return. Since there was no queue in the store, little did she know that it would be her last time she would see her son alive. John and Robert, who were at the same mall, tricked him to the railway station, where he was beaten brutally and was dropped on a rail track. He was believed to have died before the train hit him. Number 1. Mary Bell, May 26, 1957. Murder isn't that bad. We all die sometimes anyway. Brian Howe was found dead and covered with purple weeds and grass, days after the death of Martin Brown, who died of asphyxiation. His hair was cut away. Puncture marks were found on his thighs, and his genitals were partially skinned. All these were the acts of Mary Bell. Mary was only 11 at that time. She was released after 23 years. Her mother fought and won a case for her through the court. She won the case for both her own anonymity and that of her daughter. This order is consequently known as Marybelle Order.